Let me be blunt with you. If a woman is opening up and telling you her problems, she is not just venting. She is testing something in you. She is showing you a side of herself. She does not show everyone. And if you do not know what that actually means, you are going to completely misread her and maybe even push her away without realizing it. Most men think women just complain. They think when we bring up our struggles, it is because we want someone to fix them or give us advice. But here is the truth. When a woman shares her problems with you, she is actually letting you into her emotional world. And for women, that is a big deal. Because trust me, we do not do that with just anyone. Now here is where it gets interesting. What we want in that moment is not what most men think. You do not need to solve it. You do not need to give her a long lecture, and you definitely do not need to get frustrated or dismiss it. What we are looking for is something deeper. We are watching how you hold yourself. When we bring you our vulnerability, do you stay calm? Do you actually listen? Do you show us through your presence that we are safe with you? Because if you can do that, you immediately separate yourself from almost every other man out there most. Guys fail this test. They either get defensive annoyed or overly eager to fix it. And in doing so, they show us that they are not emotionally grounded enough to handle a woman in her real state. This is where stoicism comes in. A stoic man does not get pulled into emotional chaos. He does not lose himself when a woman shares her struggles. Instead, he listens. He steadies himself, and he proves, without saying much, that he can carry himself like a man no matter what. That is exactly what makes women respect you, and yes, even fall harder for you. 1. Why women share their problems with you. Here is something you probably have not thought about. Women do not share their problems with every man they meet. In fact, most of the time we keep things bottled up or share only with people we deeply trust. So if a woman is opening up to you about what is bothering her, it is a sign that she sees you as more than just another guy in her life. It means at the very least you have earned enough trust for her to peel back a layer of herself that she usually hides. Now let me be very clear. Women are naturally emotional. Yes. But that does not mean we are careless with who we show those emotions to. Think about it. If she is telling you about her bad day, about how her boss embarrassed her in a meeting, or how she feels left out by her friends, she is not just complaining for the sake of it. She is watching how you respond. She is looking to see if you have the kind of energy she can lean on, or if you will just brush it off like everyone else. When women share their problems, it is less about the actual details and more about connection. We are giving you a chance to step into our world emotionally. If you meet that moment with presence, if you actually listen, if you nod, if you stay calm, then you are building something powerful without even realizing it. Trust. But here is the trap most men fall into. Instead of just hearing us, they jump into solution mode. They start giving advice, like they are our life coach. And while sometimes we will take that advice, the truth is, that is not what we are really after. What we are really craving in that moment is to feel understood, not fixed. If you can give us that, you immediately stand. What? Let me paint this in a real way. Imagine she comes to you and says, I feel like I am the only one putting effort into my friendships. No one checks in on me and it makes me feel like I do not matter. Most men would instantly say something like, well, then just stop talking to them or find better friends. Logical, sure, but emotionally that misses the point. She is not asking you to build her a new friend group. She is asking you to sit with her in that vulnerable moment to say something as simple as that sounds really tough. I get why you would feel that way. That is it. That is the power. By acknowledging her feelings without trying to fix everything, you show her that she is safe with you emotionally. And once a woman feels safe with you on that level, her attraction naturally deepens, because deep down, every woman wants to know, can this man handle me at my rawest? So remember this. If she is sharing her problems, it is not small talk. It is her way of letting you into her inner world. And that is the first step to creating real intimacy. 2. The test you do not realize you are taking. Here is the truth. Most men do not realize. When a woman tells you her problems, you are not just hearing her out. You are actually being tested. Not in a manipulative game-playing kind of way, but in a very real, very instinctive sense. Women reveal parts of themselves as a way of measuring if you can handle it. Think about it. A woman does not want to waste her energy opening up to a man who is going to crumble, dismiss her, or make her feel foolish for being vulnerable. So when she tells you about something that is bothering her, she is not only sharing, she is also silently asking, can this man stay grounded when I am not? That is where so many men get it wrong. They think being stoic means being cold, detached, or indifferent. But that is not stoicism at all, and it is definitely not attractive. Real stoicism is about calm strength. It is about being centered even when emotions are swirling around you. When a woman sees that you can hold space for her feelings without getting rattled or trying to control the situation, that is when she starts to see you differently. She sees you as stable, and stability to a woman is magnetic. Let me break it down for you. When she shares her problems, there are a few different reactions you might have if you dismiss her. Oh, it is not that big of a deal. Don't stress, she will feel unseen. That tells her you cannot handle her emotional reality. If you get overwhelmed, wow, that sounds crazy. I do not even know what to say. She will feel like you are not strong enough to carry weight when life gets heavy. If you overreact, why would your friends treat you like that? You need to cut them off. Right now, she will feel like you are adding more chaos, not calming it. But if you simply stay grounded, listen and respond with calm presence, you pass the test without even knowing you are taking it. You show her that her emotions will not knock you off balance, that you can be steady when she is not. And that is a huge part of why women fall for certain men. Not because they are the loudest, richest, or most charming, but because they feel emotionally safe in their presence. 3. Why listening beats solving every time. This is one of the biggest mistakes men make with women, and honestly, it is not your fault. Men are wired to solve problems. If something is broken, you want to fix it. If someone is hurting, you want to find the fastest solution. That is how most men show care. But here's the part you need to understand. When a woman tells you her problems, she is usually not looking for a solution. She is looking for connection. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but let me explain from a woman's perspective. When we share our struggles, it is not always because we want an answer. It is because we want to feel understood. Think about it. If she says, my boss is making my life miserable, he never appreciates me, and your response is, well, just quit your job. That does not make her feel better. Even if you are technically right, it feels like you brushed past her feelings and skipped straight to a fix. What she really wanted in that moment was for you to hear her acknowledge her and let her feel safe enough to let it out. When you rush to solve, she feels like you are not really listening. And worse, it can make her feel small, as if her emotions are something you want to push out of the way instead of sitting with. But when you slow down, lean in, and listen with presence, that is when the dynamic shifts. That is when she feels closer to you. Here is the truth. Women fall for the man who makes them feel seen. Not the man who always has the perfect answer, but the one who makes her believe her feelings matter. That is why listening is more powerful than solving, because it builds emotional intimacy. And intimacy is what makes her attached to you. Stoicism comes into play here too. Real stoicism is not silence. It is calm presence. It is being able to listen without jumping in, without getting defensive, without trying to prove how smart you are. It is simply being there grounded as she unloads what is on her chest. You would be surprised how often women end up solving their own problems just by talking them out. What they needed was not your solution. It was your presence. Emotional vulnerability is her way of choosing you. Most men underestimate just how big of a deal it is when a woman opens up about her problems. You might think she is just venting or oversharing, but from a woman's perspective, emotional vulnerability is never random. We do not hand our struggles to just anyone. We hand them to the people we trust. So when she chooses you to hear her problems, whether it is about work, her family, her insecurities, or even her fears, what she is really saying is, I trust you enough to see the unpolished version of me. That is not small. That is huge. And if you understand how rare that is, you will start to see how it is actually her way of signaling interest. A woman does not share her heart with a man she does not care about. She might laugh with strangers, flirt a little with someone she finds attractive, but when she shows you the messy parts of her life that is a doorway into intimacy, it is her way of choosing you even if she does not come out and say it directly. Here is where most men mess this up. They treat her vulnerability as either a burden or as background noise. They roll their eyes internally thinking, here we go again. More drama. Or they listen half-heartedly waiting for her to finish. When you do that, you miss the moment. You make her feel foolish for letting her guard down. And once a woman feels unsafe with her emotions, she will not open up again. She will shut down, and you will lose access to the most important side of her true self. Now, from a Stoic perspective, here is what you need to realize. Your role is not to be emotionally reactive with her, but to be steady. That does not mean cold or detached. It means being the grounded presence that can hold space for her without judgment. If she is upset, you do not have to mirror her chaos. If she is anxious, you do not have to absorb her anxiety. Instead, your calm energy reassures her. It tells her, you can fall apart here, and I will still be standing strong. 5. When she shares, she is inviting you close. When a woman tells you her problems, it is rarely about just wanting to talk. What she is really doing is extending an invitation. She is saying, here is a piece of me most people do not get to see. Do you want to come closer, or are you going to stay on the surface? The way you respond to that moment determines whether she feels drawn to you or disappointed by you. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a woman telling a man about how her boss embarrassed her at work, made her feel small in front of colleagues, and now she is doubting herself. She is sitting across from him, speaking quickly, trying to make sense of her emotions. In that moment, she does not need him to jump in with, you should have said this, or here is what I would have done. What she wants is for him to look at her, really see her and say something simple like, that must have been hard, but you are stronger than you think. Notice what happened there. He did not try to fix her problem. He did not minimize it by saying it is not a big deal. He did not make it about himself. He held space, validated her feelings, and then gently reminded her of her strength. That is not weakness. That is not being her emotional babysitter. That is being a man who knows how to show steady presence without losing himself in the process. And here is the part most men miss. When she shares like that, it is her way of drawing you deeper into her world. Women bond through vulnerability. If she lets you in emotionally, it is her quiet way of telling you that she is open to letting you in physically, mentally, spiritually, all of it. But if you shut her down, brush it off, or act disinterested, she instantly feels a wall. She will start to second-guess opening up again, and the attraction she felt, it fades. This is why Stoicism matters here. Being Stoic does not mean being cold or distant. It means being calm, steady, and grounded in moments where her emotions might feel overwhelming. It means you do not lose your balance just because she is upset. When you can hold your frame while still being present, she feels safe, and safety for a woman is one of the strongest precursors to desire. 6. Do not fix her ground. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman shares her problems is trying to fix them. I get it. Men are natural problem solvers. You hear her say she is stressed at work, and your instinct is to come up with solutions. Talk to your boss. Update your resume. Stand up for yourself. To you, that sounds logical and helpful, but to her, it often feels cold, dismissive, or like you did not actually hear her. Here is the key you need to understand. When a woman is opening up, she usually is not asking for a fix. She is asking for grounding. She is trying to feel steady again by leaning on your presence, your calm, your stability, your ability to just be there with her. That is what reassures her far more than any plan of action you can come up with. Think about it. If she is already overwhelmed, the last thing she wants is a lecture or a step-by-step process that makes her feel like she is failing at handling life. What she wants is simple acknowledgement. That sounds tough. I get why you are upset. By doing that, You show her that you are not afraid of her emotions. You are not running from her vulnerability, and add more strength to your response with gratitude and emotional intelligence and subtle stoicism. From Dark Facts 2, a 0. Women sense when you're emotionally intelligent, when you respond with presence, not just words. And in those moments, you're not just reacting. You're choosing how to show up as a man who doesn't crumble. You're practicing quiet power of Dark Facts 2, 0. Here's something most men don't grasp about emotional connection. It's not just about listening, it's also about what you do after she shares that vulnerable piece of herself with you from Dark Facts 2.0. You don't solve. You don't fix. You just practice being emotionally available and grounded. And that begins with self-awareness and emotional depth. Something the Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and modern emotional intelligence experts would strongly encourage, and that's wisdom. Dark Facts 2, 0 wants you to absorb. Take the power of expressive writing, what Marcus did in Meditations, and what modern emotional intelligence research confirms. Journaling, even just for 5 minutes a day, helps you process emotions, stay present, reduce stress, and avoid reactive. Emotional overload men who develop emotional clarity simply don't get rattled when emotions hit, and you can too. Dark Facts 2, 0 encourages this practice for inner stability. Here's another level of awareness that sets a stoic, yet emotionally intelligent man apart. Don't ask why she's feeling this or that, but ask what is she feeling and what does that reveal about what she needs in this moment. Journaling expert Tasha Urich says, don't chase why questions in your emotional life. They often create confusion. Instead, focus on what gives clarity and steady presence. Dark Facts 2, 0 teaches you to operate that way. And don't underestimate the power of gratitude even in emotional storms. Reminding yourself, even silently, to appreciate the small anchors in life shifts your mental state from chaos to calm something. Stoic tradition and emotional intelligence both affirm Dark Facts 2. 0 highlights that practice as a secret power for inner poise. Now let's bring in actionable steps so your next moment of emotional connection can be deeper and longer lasting. Step 1. Pause with presence. When she opens up, breathe in. The moment, let your reaction settle. Don't rush to speak. This pause is your strength, presence, not absence. Dark Facts 2. Step 2. Ground through listening. Let her words land. Nod slowly. Mirror her energy, not dismiss it. Say something like, that must have felt heavy, I'm uncomfortable. Here. Dark Facts. It feels like doing nothing, but silence is not nothing. Step 3. Silence Validate, is restraint. Don't fix. It's discipline. Acknowledge. And women respect discipline more than desperate effort. If you've been that guy who really hard, I get why that feels so heavy. Explains himself or tries to. You're not solving her life. Talk his way back into her heart. Carry the space. This is your wake-up call. Dark Facts 2. She doesn't need more of your words. She needs to feel your absence. Reflect with depth. She needs to feel the gap you leave behind when you stop pouring yourself into her. In you. That's what triggers her to reevaluate how grounded you felt or how much presence you brought. Dark Facts 2.0 uses this reflective layer, and even if she doesn't come back, silence still wins. Step 5. Because silence protects your dignity. Build emotional resilience. It keeps you from looking needy, from lowering your standards. Start journaling with simple what questions about your feelings. And at the end of the day, person like, you held steady even when she didn't. Women respect from men and clarity. Dark Facts, so hear me clearly. Teaches this technique, silence rooted in stoic emotional mastery, but only if you trust it. Finally, if you understand that emotional intelligence breaking down and chasing when you feel anxious doesn't make you soft. If you can, it makes you unbreakable. Master it makes silence, you the kind of man women how women instinctively lean into how you see yourself. Dark Facts 2. Dark Facts 0 stands with you, reminding you that your value is not something you prove with words. No, it's something you demonstrate with presence and absence. 8. Reinforcing your identity beyond her response. Silence isn't just a reaction tool, it's a reflection of your self-worth. When she pulls away, your silence doesn't need to come from ego. It needs to come from an unshakable sense of identity. The man who stays silent, not because he's playing a game, but because he knows who he is, sends a message. Without saying a word, he says, I am whole without your attention, even while valuing it. This type of silence doesn't leave a void. Instead, it fills the space with respect for yourself and intrigue in her mind. Dark Facts 2. 0 reminds you that your greatest power lies in your inner alignment, not in external validation. Silence aligned with self-respect can't be misinterpreted. 9. Moving with purpose, not intention. Many men mistake silence for passivity. They let silence drag them away from purpose instead of steering them toward it. Let silence be the signal that you are shifting focus from her reaction to your growth. Fill your silence with purpose. Pursue your goals, deepen your passions, strengthen your boundaries, invest in your evolution. That kind of silence radiates authenticity. A man who goes quiet because he's building something solid, not because he's waiting for a reply, is magnetic. That is the kind of silence Dark Facts 2. 0 teaches you to embody a presence that extends beyond words and survives beyond responses. 10 long-term power is built on self-mastery. When you discipline your silence, you practice self-mastery. You learn that your peace doesn't depend on her reaction, that your worth isn't negotiable. Silence becomes your daily habit, not just a relationship tactic. The man who masters his own silence masters himself. And self-mastery is irresistible because it never wavers. Only reminds, it never chases, only draws, it never begs, only commands respect from itself and others. This is the truth. Dark Facts 2. 0 delivers when it says real attraction is born from calm confidence sustained over time without compromise. Conclusion: let your silence speak your strength. Your silence is not an absence, but a presence. It defines your standards, sets the frame, and illuminates your worth. Silence is not a weapon against her, it's a mirror for both of you. It shows whether she steps forward or lets go. Either response teaches you who she is and who you are. Silence is the truth test that words can't pass. It asks who cares enough to fill the quiet and who fades into it, and if you're genuine in your silence, in it lies your dignity, your clarity, and your power. Dark Facts 2. 0 seals this truth with precision. Remember, words may fade, but the echo of your strength in silence resonates forever.